Have you ever looked at your life, at the quietness of your current season, and felt a profound sense of perplexity? You see everyone around you finding their person, their partner, their undeniable connection, while your heart whispers a familiar, painful question: why not me? Am I fundamentally flawed, or is my destiny simply different? It's easy to slip into that cycle of doubt, where the lack of a significant other starts to feel like a cosmic rejection, a signal that you've been overlooked or maybe even forgotten by the divine plan. But what if we completely reframe that thought? What if the very stillness you perceive is not an absence, but a powerful, intentional presence? Imagine the silence not as a void, but as a space where heaven is speaking its loudest truth about you. This quiet period is a confirmation that you are far from ordinary. The tears you've shed, the countless prayers uttered in the secrecy of your room, the persistent searching gaze, it all points to a deep, genuine desire for connection. You feel ready, whole, and prepared to share your life. Yet the door to that kind of partnership remains firmly shut. This is where the enemy of your soul tries to plant the most destructive lie, that your singleness is a punishment for some unseen failure. I am here to tell you definitively that this is not punishment, nor is it a denial of your worth. It is, in the most profound sense, an act of divine preparation. You are not hidden away because you are unwanted. You are being carefully preserved because you are uniquely set apart for a mighty purpose. The waiting is not a mistake. It is a meticulously crafted masterpiece in progress. In the next few moments, we are going to journey together beneath the superficial interpretations and the tired old cliches about waiting. We are going to unpack 5 fundamental spiritual truths that will illuminate precisely the reason God has chosen this extended season of singleness for you. By the time we conclude this powerful revelation, your perspective on your current status will have completely transformed. You will no longer feel like a passive victim of a delay, but an empowered, purposeful individual who is perfectly aligned with a destiny far grander than mere dating. You will finally discover a deep, abiding peace that comes from understanding your story is being written by the ultimate author. So, if you are truly ready to shift your paradigm, to move from frustration to revelation, I invite you to engage with this message. Take a moment right now to hit that like button to acknowledge your readiness to receive a powerful word. If you haven't already, please subscribe to join a community of people walking a similar journey toward purpose. And as a profound spiritual declaration, type 99 into the comments section. This biblical number represents the many who were left to find the one who was specifically chosen. If you are here listening to this, understand this truth. You are that one. Now please take a deep centering breath. Let the tension in your shoulders relax. What you are about to absorb is not just encouraging talk. It is a spiritual download that possesses the power to fundamentally alter the way you perceive your entire life trajectory, turning your season of waiting into a season of victorious becoming. Are you prepared for this journey of awakening? Shall we embark on this powerful transformation together? You have persistently asked, why me? Why does the abundance of marriage and coupling seem to flow effortlessly toward others, while I continue to hold my place on the sideline? The simple yet earth-shattering answer is this: because you are not just anyone. You are a chosen vessel, and the chosen are invariably hidden for a specific period. They are not showcased prematurely. Instead, they are refined, polished, and meticulously prepared in the silence. They remain in the shadows, growing in strength and character until the precise, divinely appointed moment of their unveiling. Consider this deeply. When God has deposited something truly rare, something of spiritual excellence and high value within your spirit, He cannot afford to expose that treasure to just any environment or any person. Not everyone possesses the spiritual qualification or the maturity to handle the depth of what you carry. Furthermore, not everyone is anointed or destined to walk in perfect step beside the unique destiny you are called to fulfill. God's focus is not merely on facilitating a casual relationship. He is meticulously crafting a covenant of spiritual legacy. This is the precise reason that the delay you feel is absolutely not a sign of rejection. It is an undeniable indicator of divine alignment. Let me make this truth undeniably clear. God will never, under any circumstance, connect you with a person who would serve as a distraction from the fundamental calling He has placed upon your life. He will not permit your magnificent future to become entangled or compromised by a soul who would seek to dim your inner fire or silence the prophetic voice you carry. You are called to a life of influence, to the establishment of a profound spiritual legacy. That legacy, that eternal inheritance, cannot be built upon a shaky or flawed foundation. This is the profound, merciful reason that certain doors had to be closed in your past. This is why some text messages had to go without a reply. This is why those specific people were gently, but firmly, ushered out of your life's narrative. Your existence is not a sequence of random events. It is a sacred and ordered journey, and sacred things, by their very nature, must be set apart and protected. Understand that God is not operating slowly. He is acting with immense protective intention. He is actively guarding you as a priceless, irreplaceable treasure. The unique quality of what is coming into your life, the magnitude of the covenant that awaits you, is beyond the scope of anything normal. It is decidedly divine. Therefore, you must stop the painful comparison of your timeline to the timelines of others. You were never intended to simply blend into the crowd. You are not experiencing a delay. You are undergoing a powerful process of distillation and purification. It is a powerful paradox. Just when your spiritual life seems to have entered a period of deafening silence, a time when heaven seems unresponsive, that is often the exact moment when God is initiating the most profound and significant movements in your life's narrative. But here is an essential truth that is often overlooked or avoided. The longer the duration of the wait, the exponentially greater the spiritual weight and glory of what is being prepared and is coming your way. Right now, in the spiritual realm, beyond the view of your natural eyes, something, or indeed, someone significant is being precisely positioned for your life. However, before we delve into the details of what is being divinely aligned for you behind the scenes, you must fully grasp one more critically important concept. This concept has the potential to shake and reorder everything you thought you understood about this current season of silence and solitude. Are you still with me, focused and ready to absorb this next truth? Because what follows next might just provide the comprehensive explanation for every challenging moment you've endured. Let me pose a deeply probing question to your heart. If God, in His infinite power, were to present the One to you at this very moment, right now, with everything as it is, would you be genuinely ready to receive them? And I'm speaking not merely of emotional readiness, but of a profound, holistic preparedness, spiritually anchored, mentally disciplined, and purposefully engaged. You see, singleness is not a penalty to be served. It is a powerful, developmental process. And this is not just any process. It is a period of divine development, a celestial intensive training ground. What you interpret as profound isolation is actually your soul's private, advanced workshop. God is doing more than just observing the condition of your heart. He is actively, intentionally shaping it. He is breaking down the areas where it is fragile, strengthening the places where your resolve wavers, and teaching it how to love unconditionally without the fatal mistake of losing its core identity in the process. Here is a challenging truth that many prefer to ignore. Marriage does not serve as a healing balm for brokenness. Rather, it often magnifies the pre-existing wounds. If you make the mistake of entering into a committed relationship with the conscious or unconscious goal of trying to fill a personal void, you will not discover the promised fulfillment. Instead, you will inadvertently create a foundation of dependency. This dependency then inevitably transforms pure affection into a destructive addiction, a cycle that God mercifully seeks to protect you from. So, what is God's profound solution? He intentionally orchestrates a delay in the connection's timing. His purpose is to give you the necessary time to fully develop your personal foundation. He desires that you walk into the experience of love not in a state of desperation or clinging, and certainly not bleeding from unhealed wounds, but firmly anchored in your identity in Him. He desires a whole person, one secure in His eternal truth, ensuring that your core identity is not precariously wrapped around someone else's fickle attention. Listen to this closely and take it to heart. The more time you consciously invest in this divine workshop, the more exquisite and resilient your character becomes. You are not just becoming attractive on the outside, you are becoming unshakable on the inside. The person you are persistently praying for, they also desperately need a partner who has been refined and proven through the fiery trials of faith and patience. This season of singleness is exactly that. The fire of character, the fire of emotional healing, and the fire of total surrender to His perfect will. You are certainly not being overlooked by heaven. You are in fact being overhauled. The spiritual and emotional architecture that God is meticulously building within you must be robust enough, powerful enough, and stable enough to shoulder the immense weight of the blessing that is inevitably coming. Now let's go even deeper with this revelation. What if the entire reason for the delay is not solely centered on you? What if the timing is also profoundly connected to them, to the person waiting for you? Somewhere in this vast world, your future partner is simultaneously being shaped and purified by the exact same God. That person is currently engaged in their own spiritual warfare, actively fighting their own personal demons, purposefully breaking free from old toxic patterns, and bravely healing from their own deep-seated wounds. The divine orchestration is designed so that when your separate paths finally and majestically intersect, it will not be the collision of two desperate half-souls. Instead, it will be the powerful, synchronous walking of two whole, purpose-driven warriors, moving as one unstoppable unit. But before that magnificent moment of union can be actualized, there is yet another crucial element that God must thoroughly address within you. It is often a subtle, deeply hidden issue, something that has been quietly, insidiously sabotaging your complete readiness for years without your full awareness. Do you possess the courage and the desire to uncover what this hidden element is? Then remain engaged, because the next powerful truth we reveal might be the most difficult one to accept. But it is precisely the one that holds the key to setting your spirit free forever. Let's maintain an unflinching sense of realism here. Not every inviting smile in your life is a sign of sincerity. Not every initial connection you feel is a representation of the sacred. And most importantly, not every perceived blessing or easy path originates from the hand of God. Some things that initially possess the outward appearance of destiny are, in reality, carefully crafted disguises. This is because, with profound regularity, before heaven dispatches the truly authentic relationship, the enemy often sends a convincing replica, a counterfeit. If your spiritual footing is not firmly anchored in truth, you are at a high risk of mistakenly labeling a counterfeit as divine confirmation. This is the profound reason God has kept you hidden and protected. This is why certain doors resolutely refuse to open, why certain feelings were never fully reciprocated, and why that one connection that felt so deeply and completely right suddenly, inexplicably, shattered. You did not miss your genuine blessing. In an act of powerful grace, you successfully escaped a devastating trap. Because here is the simple, chilling truth the enemy comprehends. If he fails to destroy you through the isolation of loneliness, his next strategy is to attempt your destruction through the seductive grip of infatuation. He will strategically send someone who is highly skilled with the right, flattering words, but who possesses the fundamentally wrong spirit. This individual is designed to emotionally fuel and validate your feelings while simultaneously and slowly starving your soul of its spiritual nourishment. The most frightening component of this strategy is that toxicity rarely presents itself as obviously toxic in its initial phase. Instead, it feels exhilarating, intensely validating, and it powerfully mimics the feeling of genuine love while it quietly and persistently erodes the very core of your purpose. That is why the divine hand of God mercifully intervenes. That is why He enforces the delay. That is why He permits things to spectacularly fall apart, even at the very moment you were fervently begging and praying for them to work out perfectly. Understand this truth. Divine protection does not always manifest as immediate peace and tranquility. Sometimes it arrives disguised as rejection, as profound confusion, or as a sudden, inexplicable distance. But beneath every challenging moment, there was an unmistakable, guiding, divine hand asserting, "No, absolutely not this one. This path is not for you, and perhaps, Just perhaps that single unanswered prayer was the most profound, resounding "I love you" that heaven could ever whisper into your listening heart. God would unequivocally prefer that you weep for a brief season, in the temporary pain of loneliness, then bleed slowly and perpetually, for a lifetime within the confines of the wrong, spiritually mismatched relationship. He would always choose to gently break your heart now, in His presence, than to watch it be systematically dismantled and ruined by a person who was never spiritually anointed or equipped to truly love you in your entirety. Therefore, if you currently find yourself in a state of singleness, it is not because you are inherently unlovable. It is because you are too valuable, too consecrated to be mishandled. You are not enduring a period of spiritual punishment. You are, in fact, being preserved. And when the genuine, authentic promise makes its glorious arrival, you will gain a clear, profound understanding of why God, in His infinite wisdom, had to close every single preceding door with such finality. But there remains a deeper, more subtle truth, a realization that astonishingly eludes the understanding of many individuals. What if the most significant potential danger was not the wrong person entering your life, but the wrong, unrefined version of yourself entering the relationship? What if God's protective action is not solely focused on guarding you from them, but also powerfully protecting you from the version of yourself that would, in a moment of weakness or desperation, agree to settle for a love that is tragically less than what you deserve? Take a moment to allow that powerful thought to fully sink into your spirit. Stay focused, because in the following revelation, we are going to directly confront the single greatest internal obstacle that is likely delaying your inevitable connection with your destiny more than any external force. Are you truly prepared to face this transformative truth? Let me speak this powerful prophetic declaration directly over your life. Your singleness is not a frustrating waiting room. It is an active, powerful launchpad. This period is not a mere pause button on your life story. It is the divinely chosen, sacred place where God is actively constructing and solidifying your purpose. You constantly ask with longing in your heart, "Where is my person?" But the echoing question from God's throne is, "Where is your mission, your assignment?" Remember the sacred narrative. Before Adam was ever presented with Eve, he was engaged in an intimate walk with God. He had been given a clear, defined assignment. He possessed a solidified, unshakable identity. He was given dominion, a powerful mandate over the entire garden. This is the profound truth. Genuine, destined love does not materialize to complete you. It shows up to powerfully partner with your established calling. This is the core reason God has kept you in this place of preparation. He absolutely does not want you entering a covenant relationship while still grappling with fundamental, unsettled questions like, who am I really? What are my deepest desires? What exactly am I called to do with my life? He intends for those foundational questions to be comprehensively answered, completely settled, and deeply solidified within His unwavering presence. The goal is that when your partner does finally arrive, they are not tasked with filling your emptiness. Instead, they are arriving to powerfully align with and accelerate your established destiny. This current season you are in is profoundly sacred. God is intentionally working to fully reveal you to you. He is actively awakening the dormant gifts that reside within your spirit. He is masterfully drawing out your inner fire, breaking the destructive need for external approval, and igniting within you the unshakable courage required to walk fully and authentically in who you are meant to be. Because without a clear, solidified understanding of your purpose, you run the high risk of settling for mere companionship over true calling, for fleeting comfort over deep conviction, for temporary attention over eternal alignment. God's love for you is too great, too fierce to permit that kind of settling. This is why it often feels like He is gently pushing you, intensely stretching you, and actively calling you into places that feel fundamentally uncomfortable. He is not doing this to cause frustration. He is doing it to activate you into your highest potential. Here is a powerful divine key. The moment you begin to vigorously walk in the fullness of your purpose, you automatically step directly onto the destined path of your promise. This is the geometry of divine love. Your person will not be discovered randomly wandering in the large crowd. They will be found faithfully walking on the exact same road as your calling. It will be the union of two whole people, pursuing the same central mission, fueled by the same spiritual flame, and heading in the exact same direction. This is the way heaven orchestrates the perfect alignment of love. So rather than your primary prayer being, God, please send them to me now, perhaps the truly transformative prayer is, God, please send me to my assignment now. Because when you operate powerfully in purpose, divine encounters become absolutely inevitable. Now, we approach the major shift in perspective. What if every single thing you are currently waiting for, the love, the deep connection, the spiritual favor, is, in fact, already waiting patiently for you too? But it resides at the specific location of your radical obedience? Could it be that your perceived delay is not intrinsically tied to any silence or slowness on God's part, but rather to your own internal reluctance or hesitation to fully step out and move into His command? When the forces of divine purpose and total obedience powerfully collide, every single aspect of your life will irrevocably change, and in this final, climactic revelation, you will fully discover why your unique love story was never, ever intended to be ordinary or common. You will see clearly why the intense weight and duration of your wait is fundamentally about to become the most profound and public witness of God's glory in your life. Stay with me for this concluding and most vital truth. You mistakenly believe your only activity is waiting for a relationship. But the profound truth is that God is actively, meticulously crafting a spiritual revelation through your life. He is not merely giving you a pleasant love story. He is writing a powerful generation-spanning testimony, a narrative that will echo through time, consistently pointing people back to His limitless glory. He is currently forging something exceptionally rare, something perfectly pure, something that the forces of hell will be powerless to counterfeit, and something that the watching world will find utterly impossible to ignore. Because when God Himself authors a love story, that union does not just make the two individuals feel whole. It makes the visible, palpable presence of heaven visible on earth. Yes, you have faithfully waited, and yes, the passage of time has felt painfully long and challenging. But understand this eternal principle. Nothing authentically forged in the fire of faith ever returns empty or unrewarded. Every single tear you have cried in secret has been recorded and bottled by the Almighty. Every lonely, challenging night has been personally witnessed by heaven. Every prayer that seemed to go unanswered has been meticulously woven into the larger, grander tapestry of a future, manifest glory. God's delay is never a denial of your desire. It is always, without exception, a masterful divine design. Because what He is actively preparing for you is not the equivalent of fast food love, a quick, easily consumed and rapidly fading affection. No, what is coming is a grand eternal covenant feast. And when this promised union finally arrives, your marriage will be far more than a beautiful photo on a wall. It will be a dynamic, living, breathing mirror reflecting the relationship between Christ and His church. This will be a love that sacrificially gives, that actively prays, that readily forgives, and that powerfully builds spiritual altars, not just physical homes. Your very marriage will become a powerful sermon. Your unwavering faithfulness will become a deep prophecy. Your remarkable story will ultimately break chains for countless others who are still waiting and wrestling in their own periods of silence. Why is this so? Because when God initiates a mighty move, He doesn't just bless the two of you. He deliberately transforms your breakthrough into a blueprint for generations to follow. This is precisely why the enemy has fought against you with such relentless ferocity. He wasn't merely attempting to delay your earthly romance. He was desperately trying to cancel your powerful, eternal legacy. But he has utterly failed, because God is still writing the narrative. And this next magnificent chapter of your life is not merely about finding love. It is fundamentally about achieving a vast, eternal impact. So, lift your head high. Maintain the steadfastness of your spirit, because what is coming your way is not common. It is sacredly consecrated. And very, very soon, when the curious world inquires, how did this magnificent thing happen for you? You will simply smile with profound peace and say, with undeniable conviction, only God, in His perfect timing, could have orchestrated this. But before this powerful promise completely manifests, before the doors to your next season swing open wide, God desires to whisper one final, anchoring truth directly into the deepest part of your heart. A truth that will solidly anchor you, intensely empower you, and successfully carry you across the final, difficult stretch of this waiting period. Are you fully prepared, completely surrendered, and ready to receive this final life-altering truth? Because the very conclusion of this message is the moment where every single piece of the complex puzzle will finally and powerfully snap into its place, giving you absolute clarity. Listen to my words with careful spiritual attention. You are not simply idling away time, passively waiting for love to arrive. You are actively, dynamically being forged for a mission of love that is greater than you know. This season of singleness is not a mistake or a delay. It is a brilliant, multifaceted divine strategy. Heaven is intently shaping your inner man and woman in the shadows, because the destiny that is coming will unequivocally demand a warrior's spirit, a completely healed and whole heart, and a soul that is perfectly and unyieldingly aligned with its highest purpose. Do not, under any circumstance, allow the lies of loneliness to dictate your reality. Do not permit the perceived silence to falsely convince you that God has somehow forgotten your desires or your existence. He has personally seen and recorded every single tear you've shed. He has intimately heard every single prayer you have offered. And I declare to you that He is aggressively moving and orchestrating things in ways that your natural eyes simply cannot yet perceive. God is not late in His timing. He is infinitely intentional in His execution. And when the time is perfectly right, He will not merely bring you someone to love. He will bring you a partner to powerfully build the kingdom with. This is an endeavor that transcends the limitations of simple romance. This is the establishment of a profound legacy. This is the fulfillment of undeniable impact. This is the majestic unfolding process of destiny. Therefore, continue to keep the fire of your faith intensely burning. Guard your spiritual purity with all diligence. Actively strengthen the core of your faith, and above all else, remain resolutely in your position of expectation. Stay in perfect alignment with His word. Stay faithfully in the secret, intimate place of His presence, because when the inevitable trumpet of heaven sounds its call, and the massive gates of your next glorious season finally swing open, the transition will be sudden, it will be undeniably supernatural, and it will be absolutely, undeniably God. And on that profound, glorious day, you will look back and understand with absolute clarity that every single second of the wait, every challenge and every tear was monumentally, definitively worth it. So, I invite you to join me in making this a powerful public declaration of faith. Speak this truth aloud and type it in the comments section below. I'm not waiting, I'm becoming who God needs me to be. Say it boldly, speak it prophetically over your life, and share this powerful message immediately with someone else you know, who is still faithfully holding on in the dark and difficult silence. Because your ultimate love story is not destined to be merely beautiful. It is guaranteed to be glorious, holy, and eternally unforgettable. This moment is your divine opportunity. This is your powerful spiritual awakening. This is the purposeful season of your divine preparation. He is not withholding a blessing. He is masterfully preparing you for it. And when He finally moves, absolutely nothing in this world will be able to stop the magnitude of what He is about to release into your life. Get ready.